Welcome back, everyone, to Lime City Wonderland. We are raising money for Child's Play. Speaking of, we do have a donation from, I wonder who this is. Theory donated $20. Best Metal Gear OST incoming. Debatable. Debatable. But there's definitely some bangers on here. This next run will be Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. It's any percent on the PC. We've got Theory UK running and House Test commentating. Take it away, my friends.
Thank you, Apache. Yes, I'm Theory, and I'm joined by my co-commentator here, House Test. How you doing?
Hey there, I'm doing good. Good luck for your run.
Good. And yeah, we'll be ready. So we'll just go countdown and start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, here we go. If you asked me to take over a little bit of commentating, so we can close the run, and that's definitely necessary for Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. This is the second game in the series. Came out originally in 1990. We're going to play here the Metal Gear Master Collection. And in the beginning, we're also going to be focusing, because we want to meet a timing with a specific art. So we ideally want to have no alerts before we meet the first boss fight. Let's see how we're doing. Quickly grab the rationing and then making our way over to the fence to the top. Quickly go underneath it, which is a new feature. You can finally crawl in this game. Metal Gear 1, you could not do that, and there we go. Just punch the guard, made it past him without being seen. Awesome. Now it's just moving along the fence here, distracting a few of these guards. Turn around and be like, oh, what the hell's happening? And ideally we just walk up to them, give them a quick punch. They're gonna just be confused and we can move past them. Super easy. There we go, another punch. And now it's time to quickly grab our pistol before we make our way into Zanzibar land. We're gonna enter, of course, not through the main door, but through the vent here on the right side. And just quickly crawl up here. Chat is saying my voice is a little bit quieter. Let me turn on automatic gain control. That should hopefully work. And everyone can hear me nice and clearly. There we go, we're inside of Zanzibar land. Now part 2 comes basically. We just infiltrated the facility, and now we're gonna make our way over to the next floor where we get our first car to enter these rooms. Once again, we're gonna make our way here past these guys without any alerts. Every alert that happens will freeze us shortly if a guard sees us, which is not the case for people on cameras. The cameras just give us an immediate alert. There we go. One of the few things that we'll notice here, every time we go up to an elevator, we're going to crawl into it. That's because when we crawl into an elevator, we will actually not go all the way in, but can quickly stand up and immediately hit the panel. There we go. One nice trick and a little optimization that yours truly found out was that we can also call an elevator a little bit early, and by the time that the elevator arrives, we already have made our little things that we need to grab, like the card here, and now we're going to move on to the 3rd floor. Quick menu prepare and everything, because coming up is the first boss fight of this game, Black Ninja. At least for the original versions, like the PlayStation 2 version, there are certain manipulations that we can do with this first boss, and for that it is key that we only have 0 alerts and only 2 times people going, what was that noise? Because then the ninja will be in a very particular pattern that's very favorable to us. And if I remember correctly, I think Phoebe said it also is a more active run of this game right now, that it is manipulatable.
Yeah, from what I've found, it's not exactly the same as PS2. You can still get a bad pattern, even if you get no alerts and everything. But what tends to happen on MC is that
oh, there you go. That's good.
If you get no alerts and you're pretty consistent at the beginning, you get better patterns more often. You can still get bad RNG though. There is a chance that you just get a really bad pattern where he constantly teleports for like a minute instead of standing still. But that was actually a really good pattern. It was probably the best one.
Yeah, just for quick explanation, this is based on the category on Speedrun.com, which is called PS2 NTSC, HDC, and MC now. Because the Master Collection version is just the HD version basically, and it shares the same aspect with the PlayStation 2 NTSC version of running at 30 FPS. With Metal Gear 1 and this game Metal Gear 2, the European PlayStation 2 versions actually ran slower, and the entire game has been sped up to compensate for that. So ironically, the European version is faster to run versus the American and Japanese versions of this game, or the HD versions. But in its core, they're still the same game. It's just the European version is slightly faster in basically every aspect. And so yeah, a few things that we can only do on PlayStation 2, like manipulation. But something that definitely works here is where we get an intentional alert going here clockwise around this area. We want to get seen and immediately vanish again. And that whole setup's just for the green beret guy to be slightly closer towards the level load zone, because we're going to follow this guy now for a couple of minutes. So move over here. And now the guy will walk ahead. We'll try not to get seen, and he will open up the path for us. And there's literally nothing we can do. So if anybody wants to find a skip for that, feel free to do so. That will make this around 1 hour run long run a little bit faster. Did this game run slower in the actual MSX? Oh, it ran definitely slower. For the original MSX computer, this game was very demanding. It was basically the crisis of its time in 1990. Ironically, even if I remember correctly, on the MSX version and the Nintendo Wii version, yes, there's a Nintendo Wii Virtual Console version of this game as well, including also for Metal Gear 1, where if you are under alert, the radar is turned off, and that actually makes the game run slightly faster for you in RTA. There's, of course, no in-game timer for the original MSX version. That has been added later with the PS2 port. But yeah, fun little fact. It runs so bad that if you turn off the radar by getting an alert, it actually runs faster.
There's actually a fair few differences between both different versions, which is quite cool. These games, because normally there isn't that much of a difference, but like House has stated previously, like the PS2 like PAL version just runs ridiculously fast. It's even noticeable when you watch Snake run on it in comparison to like this version. You can see the difference massively.
Yes, for this game, the PAL version is 6 minutes faster over the hour that the run takes. I believe it's like 11% actually difference in speeds. And yes, this OST is quite good. It's a banger all year round. There's a reason why this is basically the basic of the VR music.
Yeah, you might notice some, if you've ever played MGS1 VR and things like that, you might notice some reused tracks that have been remixed and remastered for that game. They originally come from this version. So we're on the second part of this guard follow thing section, and he's going to switch up his pattern here. As you can see, he's going to try and like fake out, but we know what he's going to do, so we're just going to sit and do what we got to do to hide.
Yeah, a little fun fact, this category normally is run in IGT. IGT is basically just an RTA timer. It does not stop for anything but for loading. So if we have this little Foxhound logo show up between two areas, that's when it's loading. And that's when the IGT timer actually stops, which is kind of nice for us. It's more leaning then towards that. Only really the gameplay part, where we are in control of the game, counts towards the IGT. But there's also a few fun things with checkpoints. So as we go up north now and meet Dr. Matna, I found out that some checkpoints are being set at the start of Cody codes. And if you want to do like funky IGT manipulation, which is currently the basis of the leaderboards, IGT as a timing, we can take the call, then die, get set back in a checkpoint to the point where the call would normally start, but we skip it. So instead of needing to wait for this entire call to go through, we can just immediately move on for the IGT standpoint. But this is a marathon, we don't want to waste the RTA time, so for today, we're not going to do that. Right, talk to Dr. Matna, time to meet our next target. We want to go even further north, but there are a few things in a way that we have to deal with. So, Speedrun, of course, we have a little checklist that we follow, and first up is getting more weapons, such as the mines that we can find here in the Singing Sands Desert. And that's no joke, this sand is singing. At least when you get to the new guard screen, you know, like, oh yeah, this actually, when you walk, it's just going quick, quick, quick. And everyone notices you. Here's the thing we're going to do. We're going to go through the swampland here. There's a specific path that we have to take, or else we will basically drown. Not sure what it's called if you drown in swamp, but there it is, we see. There's a few visual cues that we can follow easily to not fall down and die, and then we just go all the way over. Definitely easy enough after a few runs. And yeah, if you want to learn how to do this run, go to medicalspeedrunners.com. Yours truly made a little tutorial in video or text form, and it's quite good. I would really recommend running this at least once just to hear the cool OST. It's really worth it.
Yeah, so would I. Actually, I wanted to learn this run for the longest time, so I eventually took House's offer up of helping me teach me this. And his guide's really good, even though it's like, even by he said before, like some of the things are obviously a little bit outdated because he's found new stuff and other people have found newer stuff, but the guide still holds up. There's only a few differences.
There's like one or two smaller things.
Yeah.
One of the things that I always have to mention when we get to this part, this is Kojima's favorite boss fight, Running Man here. We're going to put down 4 mines, and the basis of this fight is that Running Man will always run away from us. And we use that to have him run into mines like this. We just manipulate him by switching screens, and he will automatically run into these mines and basically, well, off himself. I guess that's how it works. He turns to a cookie, and then he will explode. There you go. Now we got a new card, and unlike Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2, they noticed, oh, maybe people will skip fights because they're literally optional. So in Metal Gear 2, they upgraded every one of these bosses to have door cards, so we actually have to fight them all. No skipping this time. And with the level 3 card in hand, we can actually go back now to the first building, to a little side, where we can find a new weapon type, which is called the Stinger. So we're going to make through the swarms backwards, basically. And thankfully, never need to see it again. If anyone's ever, we just saw a 100% run. 100% also exists for this game, actually, and I'm one of the 2 runners that ever did a run. And that's when we actually see the swamp again, come back later, just because it's a little bit faster using the so-called box teleportation system with the trucks. All right, making our way back. And in the next room, we also want to deal once again with the guards in a specific way, because as I explained, when we have an alert from guards, we freeze in time for like 1.5 seconds. And ideally, we don't want to do that. Well, what I found out with a little bit of testing, working around, and also with help from other runs like Mini or Megakin, shoutouts at that point, we can distract these guards here with a shot, have them go and investigate on the right side, and then on the left side, we can just easily walk up. On the left side, there will be a camera coming up, but as I explained, cameras actually don't freeze us. There goes an alert, but they don't freeze us, and that's actually still faster to go through. And just in case we haven't said it, this is the any percent category. There are ranks in the PlayStation 2 and HD versions of this game, so we could technically go also for rank 1 or Big Boss even. But in 80%, we just play on easy difficulty and go for any rank. So that's why we don't care about the alerts. And there we go. We got the alert, but we didn't get stopped, and that's still faster in that moment. Now we have everything that we need to do, and now we can actually make our way through the desert to go to the next building. So let's hear the singing sands. And don't worry about these mines. Like, health is really not a concern. After every of these boss fights, we get our health full back, and some of them even extend our health bar, so health really is not a problem for these runs. Usually. Oh, welcome to a main character, literally. According to the credit screen, behind our next boss fight is a main character.
Yeah, for some reason it's like one of the few bosses. It's only like Metal Gear D, which makes sense. Behind D, and then Big Boss, I think. But there's no other bosses on the credits.
It's the only bosses that are in the credits later. And we're gonna quickly get here our Stinger out, and we're gonna use the radar to actually shoot on it here. Fantastic new technology from 1990, where we use the radar to aim with the Stinger and just stand in place. Right, switch back to the pistol and making our way down north. As I said, health comes immediately back after each boss fight, so health management really isn't a concern. That's why it's one of the few games where, for example, if you want to go for big boss rank, you're literally not allowed to use any rations, because even on original difficulty, you always get your full health back. Makes it a little bit more manageable. Right, quickly going into box and taking this call that we have to do, and then sort of use the teleportation system, but just at the end to enter here the facility. Alright. And more story stuff is happening. Currently have to find our helper here in this facility. There we go, there's Holly. And we have to take this call in this specific room. If you don't take this call here, we don't know where she is. She confirms there's like, she's surrounded by 4 walls and here's water nearby. She was taken there. No idea how she got there, but no, right? We'll find her eventually, of course. Thankfully, this is not an RNG moment of this game. There are other ones coming up later, though. We just make our way here through the so-called spiral, and if you take a look at the radar, it actually looks like a little snake. Which I find is just hilarious. The big boss was like, in my facility, we need to have a resemblance of a snake in the layout.
I've never noticed that, actually. I haven't really paid attention to...
Yeah, shouts to Ocean Raspberry. I think that was the username. Great comic artist, and also making some fan comics about Metal Gear. And one of them is actually how Big Boss is standing in front of a white panel. It's like, we gotta make this happen with a snake logo. Alright, getting a few explosives here on our way, and then we're gonna find Holly. She's just around the corner here in this little room.
Okay.
There you go. And as she said, yeah, she's surrounded by 4 walls and water nearby, and that's actually the sewer system. There we go. So we found her, and she's telling us, alright, I found a note where the actual primary objective, Dr. Keo Marv, is located, but I put it next to a pigeon, and the pigeon took it, and the pigeon's now on the roof. So we're like, oh, goddamn, we gotta make our way up to the roof. On our way to the roof, though, there will be another boss fight, so we're gonna use a little bit of optimization here in our pathing, and first, go back to building 1, actually, to grab a few grenades. So we do a quick swim here. We want to be in the darker part of the water and underwater to swim even faster. And this is a one-way street. If you miss your exit here, you have to go all the way around again. So be sure to stop quickly.
You can just hold up once you're in that right side lane as well.
Yeah.
It will just... Because it's already going to drag you there. The current drags you, as Al said, it's one way. So the current's actually dragging you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I went the wrong way on the menu there.
Yep. Yeah, like Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 as well, there are different cards for each doors, and only one card opens one door. So you cannot use like a high-level card for low-level doors, sadly. You have to use the exact correct one in order to open these doors. But that's fine. Lanko, you're absolutely right. The gameplay is definitely tight. And especially on the MSX versions, or what we know in the PS2 ports and the original difficulty, those are tough as nail games.
Yeah, I've watched your MSX run, and the MSX version, it's hard to say, of this game is completely different, even off the rip. Literally the first like 3 screens is completely, the patterns are completely like way different timings.
Exactly, timings are very much different, and of course being on the original difficulty, the only one that was existing back then, everything hits harder, your health is so quickly drained, you gotta play with so much more cautious, which is why there's really not many people that are actively speedrunning this game. I think on the leaderboard I'm still the only one who ever has done a run, and yeah, the HD or PS2 version that we see currently is definitely a little bit nicer, a little bit more optimized, and also reliable, because all the guard patterns are really easy for us to account for and then bypass everyone.
Yeah, it's certainly more friendly.
Absolutely. Alright, grab our grenades. Time to go to the roof. Nobody will be on the 30th floor. I'm absolutely sure there's nothing waiting in the way. And I also absolutely hope that we get the guard pigeon right now. So in chat, if you want to raise the vibes, let's hope we get a guard pigeon today. That would be a nice time save for our boy here.
Yeah. As Hal said before previously, like, there's that section with the pigeon coming up eventually. After this next section, we can IGT minute there, because there is a checkpoint as soon as you enter that room. And IGT resets every time you die. If you take a continue or anything like that, you'll go back to the last checkpoint, and the IGT will roll back to that checkpoint as well. So whatever you entered, whatever the IGT was when it did the loading screen, which is the foxhound screen that comes up, the IGT will be reverted back to why it was there. So obviously in normal runs, we would just abuse the IGT and take a death. But because I'm not taking a death, getting a good pigeon pattern is like really helpful.
Yes, twice as useful. even for IGT manipulation, we still want to have a good pigeon first time. So
Yeah.
plus the X and everything. But there's a few aspects how IGT manipulation made it a little bit more bearable, even if you don't have the best pigeon. And just a girl on what record holder, I can confirm that some of these runs are still very beatable. So hey, join us if you want. It's a good time. Give me some competition.
Yeah, there's not many runners for these games, the originals.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to see some more.
And there you go. Yeah, that's Red Blaster. He's wearing green, but his blasts are red, so I guess that's what he got the name from. And that was a little boss fight. And now comes the most annoying thing, finding the pigeon. The pigeon is, as I said, on the rooftop, and there are 1 out of 4 tiles where the pigeon can be, and it can randomly decide where to land on. So the start is random where it is. This looks good so far. If it lands right there, that would be... Oh my god! That is the god pigeon! GG! That is really good!
That's what we wanted. Wanted
Yeah.
the god pigeon, especially on RTA.
Yeah. If it's landing there, it's perfect. The only thing that could be even better is the first screen and the immediate land and immediately grabbing it. I think I've done that once in my life and never again, but this is also awesome. It's like the top 99% of pigeon RNGs.
Yeah, that was really good. Like Hal said, technically the best pigeon you can get is you enter the room, it's on the first screen, immediately lands.
Perfect.
You do also have to get to it in time as well, though, because it will fly off again very quickly if you don't land. If you don't.
That's right. Yeah, you gotta be on point there.
I've actually walked onto the pigeon, touched it, and it flew off in the same frame, and you don't get it, and you have to wait again. It is horrible.
There we go.
So
Now taking the
now
other
we've
way
got to
back
make our way
down.
down.
Yep. Going back actually to building 1 because the Dr. Kiyomouth actually doesn't speak English. But we know somebody who speaks this language. I think it's Czech. And that is Gustava. But Gustava is currently hiding in the enemy uniform in another building. Where did I hear that before? Oh, right. Metal Gear Solid later copied that from this game. This is a theme that we're going to run through this run as well. Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake having a lot of things done already that Metal Gear Solid later will refine, but in 3D. So, yeah, we got to find another helper wearing the enemy uniform, and we got to find out who that is.
MGS1 is basically a clone of this game. They kind of just took this game and then said, people will probably enjoy it in a full 3D version, so we'll make a couple of tweaks, but it's pretty much the same game. I mean, they both share the hind ears of boss. They both have Snake. And a few other things to list, but... Come back to swing section. This time we can just take this route, because we don't need to go to save Holly or talk to her.
Yeah, just immediately go for a swim. And yeah, this time we're gonna make our way up, actually not into more of the underground, but all the way to the top of this building, the 4th floor. And yeah, this elevator on the left only takes us to B2, B1, and 2F for some reason. 1F gets skipped. And then the right one only takes us to 1F, 2F, 3F, and then 4F. So we're gonna swap out real quick over to the other one. And we're gonna make our way over to 4F. 4F is a very tight floor, so I'm gonna start explaining it right away. We're gonna immediately turn left, go through a door. There will be a guard that we basically have to like first frame punch in order to daze him, and then keep moving after him. Because there's a little laser trap going up and to basically trap us and cause an alert. And we want to, of course, not get an alert right now. So in this instance of this floor, Gustava will actually be in a different position. So if we do everything correctly without any alerts until a certain point, Gustava will always be in the same location, and it will be a massive time save for us. There you go, waiting out for the camera here, moving around the box, waiting out for the guy on the next screen to be further in so he doesn't see us. All of these guards have like diamond-shaped view cones, so after a while they won't see us anymore. And there we go. Remember all your cards? It's 414334. I go in this room. There's also little traps on the floor, so don't fall into them. There you go. And oh my god, so many guards! They found us. Wait. Oh, all these puppets. Yeah, these are just puppets. The MSX version back then did not have the capability of rendering so many soldiers, but on the marketing material, it looked absolutely amazing to see how many of these guards suddenly were on screen. But in reality, there can only be 4 at max, I think, on screen still. So these are just puppets, but they do look cool on the marketing material. I think that, oh my god, so many more enemies on screen. Luckily, though, these puppet rooms, they don't count for Gustava RNG in that sense. So this is her right now. She's standing in front of the men's rooms like, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna go to the ladies. And that's so cute to know. Oh, that's Gustava. Hiding in plain sight, basically.
Yeah. And as soon as the door opens, you can go through. And she'll be in there. You don't have to wait for her to walk in.
Alright, so she now called Dr. Kiyomar. He knows, like, we're coming to save him. The whole reason why we're doing this whole mission is basically in... so the game came out in 1990, but it plays in the future, I think, of 1998 or 1996, where oil was basically missing entirely from the planet. And this Dr. Kiyomar made a little microbe that could make oil out of nothing, something like that. So it's like, oh, wait, this is going to change our energy crisis forever. We can make all our own now. We don't need to wait millions of years for dinosaurs to be compressed and then turn into oil. Great. But yeah, he got kidnapped from Big Boss in Zanzibar, and we're like, oh, we kind of want to have that formula, though. So that's the whole point of the mission here. But before we go to Dr. Kumar, we're going to also meet with Dr. Matt now, the scientist from the first Metal Gear game, in case you didn't know. And he's also playing his own game. Basically, FF7 stole this game's plot as well. Yes. It all leads back to the greatest series of all time. Sorry, yeah?
Because I've got followers, I can't actually crouch anymore. I'm thrown into elevators. So in these sections, you just have to deal with the fact that Snake will walk so far into the elevator before you can control him.
Yeah. I like to call it, we have a little RPG party now, for the time being. As if I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's 1990 when this came out, and Metal Gear Solid 1 took 8 years to come out again. 8 years later. Which I guess makes it very forgivable that they basically just made a 3D remake of this game with a little bit more, you know, extended scenes and stuff like that. So you go, the old man Quitty needs to take a leak. We're going to talk a little bit. This is actually a great story. I can really recommend it if you've not played the 2D Metal Gear games. On the MSX version, not the NES version, do it. Especially Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake is such a good story to experience, so can really recommend playing through that casually.
I think 1 was more of like a... Well, I mean, it was the first game. They didn't really expect it to go anywhere. So
yeah,
in terms of story and stuff, there's not much in it. But MG2 was like, oh, this thing is probably going to be successful. Let's make another one. And they really sat down and wrote the story as it is basically today, for the most part.
Yeah, back when Kojima was just a game planner and he introduced Intruder, then it became Metal Gear. Then Metal Gear, the sequel, was done in the Americas over, called Snake's Revenge. Kojima heard that and was like, no. They're not going to make a sequel without me. And then during the train ride where he heard this, he immediately started making the first bits of story for Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake.
Yeah, this game casually is really fun as well, and like how I said, story-wise, quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Here's the first interactable cutscene. It's not that complex. We just walk forward, but only then something happens. Yeah, wasn't so safe after all.
Even though I couldn't skip the chat boxes there, like you saw earlier where I was skipping through stuff, like you'll see here, I'll skip through all this chat really quickly. Even though you can't skip certain chat boxes, holding A still makes the messages come up quicker, because otherwise they sort of type themselves out, and it takes a little bit longer. So you still want to hold A, even if it doesn't skip text boxes as quickly.
And there we go. It's saw at least the feed of Metal Gear of this game. And as we are here, we can also grab a few more mines because we need them later. Alright, time to do some backtracking. So the bridge has been destroyed. How do we reach the camp at the north end of the site? Well, thankfully, during the Christmas party, which, yes, they throw a Christmas party here, they also used the so-called glider to jump off from the 20th floor. And we're like, alright, let's use that then to cross the gap. So go back again to the first building, all the way through the desert here, and then grab the glider. And if you're thinking, man, there's a lot of backtracking here, trust me, it's still optimized. It's still a lot more optimized. Do as much as we can here. Quickly walk in here. Singing Sands once again gets the attention of the guards. We just punch him quickly. There we go. We're just now going to walk through all of these mines. If we wise exactly, we're going to use also our first ration here. Because later we have a section in the game where we need to get rid of our items anyway. So this is a smart use of refilling your health on the go quickly. It's the only point in time where it's actually useful to use a ration. Else you should not need to use one.
It also sets up the menu for this card change right here, because I can just go straight across to the card that I need. Because the ration and the card that you need are pretty much on the same line in the inventory, so
damn right.
It just gives you a free menu switch.
It's one of the smaller items that I added to the speedrun in terms of optimization. We found out, actually we need to go down anyway there, and I need to get rid of all my items anyway later in the run, so I guess I'll just use it up quickly and then go swiftly over to this next door card. It just works. Unlike in Metal Gear 1, where our cursor is always at the same position, Metal Gear 2, actually, all our items are sorted by an ID system, so they're always in the same position, no matter when you got an item. And this makes it very useful and reliable for us, because no matter when we pick up an item, there's already a set order of what we need to do anyway. We cannot, like, randomize it or just swap it around. And at the same time, all the items are exactly in the same place based on its sorting. So this makes it very reliable to work with. All right, there's a guard coming up. Yeah, taking this alert is like fine. You can wait it out and not get the alert, but it really doesn't matter too much. And as soon as we go to the 4th floor again, which is our next goal actually, we can actually say, the alert drops anyway, so it's not too bad.
These guards aren't really going to do much to me. And even if they did attack me, HP isn't really a concern.
Absolutely. So they didn't even damage you. It's all good. It's all good, man. Alright, this time around we still want to do this quickly here with having no alert, but the second time around I found out you can actually get the alert from the camera and manipulate the guards a little bit easier without being delayed. So there's two ways of approaching this. Either get no alert here, like we did the first time, or we run through and get the alert from the camera, which does not freeze us. We manipulate the guards to have them out of our way, and we are slightly faster, but you know, it's an idiot. It's over the course of the run, it's like fine after all. There we go. Same thinking as first time. 4, 1, 4, 3, 3, 4 is the order of the cards that we need. And this time, instead of going, of course, to the latest bathroom, we're going to quickly take a little detour because, oh yeah, right. Remember, Metal Gear Solid copied from Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. And what did they also copy? Yes, the changing cards based on temperature. So already Metal Gear 2, they had the idea, oh yeah, this brooch that we got from Gustava actually changes by temperature. So if you go to the freezer, the brooch of Zanzibarland actually changes into a key. And it's a very useful backtracking save that we do now, because if we were to do this later, where we know, oh, we gotta change the brooch to a key, and then backtrack, that would be a massive time loss. So we can just wait here, freeze it already, and go for the rest of the game. Alright, back again. We gotta go to, of course, the second building where that tower is, where you can jump from the 20th floor. And we're going to use the underground system once again to quickly just go back. Thankfully, there's no enemies, well, sort of enemies like guards in the underground here. There's these little, like, bulldozers, swipers, whatever you want to call them, but they easily just walked around.
Yeah, I actually have no clue what they're supposed to be.
I have no idea.
All
I
I
would
know is
guess it's like
they
a
will
cleaning
instantly
system.
kill you. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
they're
thought.
one.
They will one-shot you.
Yep. Like Zambonis on
Yeah,
like an ice skating rink.
big ones. Apparently.
Very big ones. Immediately deadly, as we've seen in Deadpool as well. Alright, one more elevator, and we're back again on ground floor level, not 1F.
So I think we just got to take the time to appreciate how good this game looks for being like a pixel or kind of almost
absolutely.
pixelated art. Look. So,
For
being a sprite, basically. It's sprites.
Yeah, it's really nice looking. Especially the colors are very fruitful compared to what the NES could do back then. I think Snake's Revenge took more advantage of the NES console. If you look at Metal Gear 1, the MSX version versus the NES version, the NES version looked like very muted because that's just a limitation. And the Snake's Revenge, they could work a little bit more into that hardware. But the MSX2 sequel, as we see here, is just so much more, colorful. The sounds are so much better, and yeah, as I said, all the music, it's literally the same as it is in the MSX version. So this is not like, oh, they redid it for the PS2 version and later to HD. This is how it was back then. Already really nice. All right, coming up, there's another boss fight here called the Four Horsemen in this elevator. We're gonna put down few of these mines.
Anybody that's played MGS1 will know this fight because it exists in MGS1. Another thing they took from this game.
The guard encounter in the elevator, never stable. And we're gonna get surprised here just before we reach the 20th floor. Grey Fox is like, nah, sending us back. And fun fact, in the MSX version, the original name of these guys is called Hotbox. And they're very easy to manipulate. You just need to be away from them and they just step on the mines. You get the level 7 card here from them and you've dropped slightly back down again. So instead of reaching the 20th floor, we're going to go back here. The guards that were in the spiral here have walked past the elevator, out of away thankfully. And we're going to just take the outside elevator now to go to 10F and just walk outside on the stairs. It's fine. Nothing awaits us there, so we can just go.
I also did a little optimization there by standing in the spot that the card spawns in. You want to make sure you stand back in that spot, otherwise you just lose a little bit of time. That way we can just instantly grab the card.
Damn right.
Oh.
Yeah. In the MSX version, the route also needs to be slightly different because some of the mechanics in this game work different in the original, based on how checkpoints work and stuff like that. So in 10F, for example, you would go way earlier here to grab extra explosives and grenades instead of going back to the first building. But alas, in this version, we're going to go up here to the left, open up the wall, get the alert, which is fine. As I said, we don't care about the rank, just walk through. And these laser traps don't stop us. And we're just going to take a nice stroll out. Oh wait, never mind, it's another Metal Gear Solid thing. We're actually going to get ambushed here, and we're going to get followed over 10 floors from these guards, doing yet another stair chase. Unfortunately, no bubble skip this time, where we can skip half of the run. We have to go all the way top. So enjoy the music.
This is actually one of my favorite soundtracks. Yeah. This exact scene.
It's really good. And the Metal Gear Solid Game Boy Color game, also known as Metal Gear Ghost Babel, also takes many of the music cues from this game. And I think it even improves it a little bit. It's really good. So this theme is excellent.
Magical spider's web. Just another random trope of Metal Gear Solid games. Just supernatural stuff.
Yep.
I don't know why it exists on 2 floors, or 1 floor actually, 2 scenes of 1 floor, and then it never exists again. It's pretty random, but
yeah.
There's a couple of trapdoors coming up, but I'm actually just going to avoid them because I'm just going to keep zigzagging on each floor. But you can run straight over them. They open, and you can just walk straight over them. It doesn't basically next to impossible to fall down them. You just keep moving. I'm going to grab set up backup ammo here. I don't think I got enough in my pistol.
Yeah, you think you were too low, like 10 or something.
I believe you need 12.
Yeah, something like that. So just grabbing this one box is like, I don't know, 1 second time loss, but you definitely sure you will have enough ammo later when you need it.
Yeah, it gives you something like 50 something ammo in one
exactly.
box.
Definitely more than enough. And yeah, these pits are definitely nasty in the first Metal Gear MSX game, but in the second one, they're so slow. The hitbox really only count when they're fully open, so during the animation where they open up, they still don't count. So you can easily walk on them and away from them before they actually count and actually kill you one hit. And we got almost done. Yay. All the way at the top. Go for the door here. And we finally reached the 20th floor. Let's go. Time to jump off and fly over with a little kite. First off, a little bit more of guard manipulation here. Punching on the wall. There you go. And quickly moving over to the right side to not get seen immediately. Don't want the alert here.
Yeah, if I take an alert here, I can't actually glide.
Exactly. Then we're gonna go for a smoke. As soon as we see Snake have a little cigarette, we can actually jump off. Just a little fun cue, but there you go. Yeah, you can even jump off it a little bit earlier if you know the timing.
I think it's 6 codec calls, and you can jump off on the 6th one. I think I miscounted one there, so I just took it a little bit safe and waited for a 7th.
Yeah. I think the latest one literally is when Snake gets a cigarette and takes a puff, and then definitely, you know, like, it's a very big window where you can use it then.
Also, you do have to equip the smokes. No? It won't actually let you glide if you don't.
Yep. Yep. Or it's you don't know if the wind is turning in the right direction.
Yeah. Even if Snake doesn't do the animation, like you said, you can actually jump early before he does his taking a smoke animation. But yeah, you do need them on because it won't let you glide.
Mm-hmm.
Upcoming is another boss fight. Actually, one of the most annoying boss fights in this game. Not because it's difficult, but because it's pretty much RNG. It's basically the Fury of this game. So
yeah,
we saw MGS3 earlier, a couple of races, and we saw the Fury and what he'd be like. This guy is the Fury of MG2.
Mm-hmm. He's the predator. I mean, jungle evil, and he's just hiding in the bushes. And sometimes he pops out on your screen, sometimes he's on the next screen, and he doesn't even want to fight you. Really, like, I don't know why he's hiding from you, but there you go.
Let's hope for a good RNG on this guy.
Literally perfect would be if it would be always next to you. Sometimes you're gonna walk up like that, gotta delay a little bit. Especially if you go for big boss ranks here. You see he's like on the top screen this time, 2 times now. And sometimes it may be worth running after him, and sometimes it's just literally right next to you.
Okay,
and
I wouldn't. Thanks.
It's not worth it trying to shoot him or punch him, by the way. You gotta use grenades because they deal the most damage. Everything else is just time loss.
This is actually...
If you need it, you can use the brown ration. I know quickly where your backup is if you need it.
Yeah, I know where the backups are. I'm just...
Good, okay. Yeah, just saying. On the MSX version, I definitely need like 2 rations for this fight. On the MSX version, he is hard. He's really a tough nail boss.
Yeah,
I think one more grenade
anyway.
Yeah. As I said, once you're done with him, like, you get full health back, so it's fine. There you go. Yeah, not perfect. You can see how quickly you can lose time here. This is easily, like, very quickly a 30-second time loss thing.
Yeah, that wasn't a great fight at all, and there's nothing you can do about it. Just like you saw, he spawned off screen on the other screen there twice.
Yeah, you know you have a good run running after Pigeon. You know we have a great run after a good Jungle Evil. After that, there's not much that can ruin your time. Maybe a little bit of Big Boss at the end, which, spoiler, there will be a Big Boss fight. But yeah, these are the 2 big RNG moments where you have a good time or you don't.
Yeah, when I get a good Jungle Evil, I relax in terms of like thinking about what my timing's going to be at the end. Because Big Boss is like I said, Big Boss can cause some issues, but he's usually okay.
Yeah.
This guy is the biggest time sink.
Yeah. And it's just based on him avoiding you, which is so weird, because in the MSX version, I found out, actually having run this version, he's actually very close sticking to you. You can almost manipulate and expect in both the 2 directions next to you, but in the PS2 and HD version, he's just running off randomly. It's like, where are you going, buddy? Come back, I want to fight.
Oh, I got swiped there, so...
That's fine.
Grab this ration here.
Yeah, the different approaches to this one screen. Sometimes you want to have an alert, or you can do it without an alert. As long as you're fast and moving on and being on evasion on this screen before you go to the next area, the alert will drop. If you have an alert beforehand and then go over here, the alert stays, which is also not good. Because you want to have no alert this time. Yeah. And yeah, this is a little puzzle, and I hope he remembers how to do this little puzzle, because this guy at the laser gate won't open it on his own.
Yeah. That's what we picked up the egg for.
That's right.
The egg is
Eggs
an owl
open
egg.
gates here. Yeah, there's 2 eggs. Thankfully, this is not random. It's always the left egg where the owl is inside. And if the owl hatches and then hoots, the guy's like, oh yeah, it's nighttime. I'm going to open the gate at night. For some reason. I don't know why the schedule is like that.
I don't know how this would work. Yeah, this guy is...
Nighttime, open the gates, let everyone in. Oh well. Good for us, at least. We can exploit that. And yeah, the egg is on a timer, and as I found out making an auto splitter for the PlayStation 2 emulation version, the egg is actually hatching the moment you pick it up. There's nothing that you can do to speed it up. So this time, this whole segment is basically on the global timer, which does not change. But what can be a little bit advantageous is if you spend more time on this map, where the guy will be on the right at the end. So he doesn't need to walk all the way over to the button from the left to right, but if he's on the right, it's a little bit quicker overall. That's the only time save you can get in the segment. Other than that, the owl is hatching and it takes forever to haul. So no matter if you get an alert or not, that's actually not the issue. It doesn't speed up or slow down the egg hatching. You don't need to hold it in your hand to hatch.
Yeah. Also, you want to switch off the owl as soon as possible, because it will continue to hoot and distract other guards.
Yeah. Yeah, Snake can also get a cold in the water if he spends too much time in the MSX version. He immediately gets a cold. That's why the route is slightly different. But in the PS2 and HD version, he can spend some time in the water and he won't catch a cold. But as I said, the owl also does the same thing, but it makes noises and it's like, oh, now the guards are looking for me.
Actually, good.
Nice early punch on this guy. Yes, we don't want to necessarily have an alert here. Could we go to elevator? He will. I was going to say, yeah. if you don't punch the wall and distract him, he would see you. That's fine. Once again, it doesn't matter because coming up, there's another boss fight, and that boss fight also doesn't count. Like, it's whatever. Because coming up is Night Fright. One of the cooler bosses because he's literally invisible. We don't know where he is. But thankfully, the game is very reliable. If you spend in a certain location, not like pixel perfect, but specific enough, he would just come close to you and stay there, and you just toss some grenades to the corner. There you go, right there he is. And usually, like in a perfect run, he will just stay there and you don't lose him, but sometimes he goes a little bit away, out of your range. But if you just keep spamming grenades there you go, he falls.
That was actually pretty good.
That's not bad, yeah. I sometimes have to throw like 3 grenades one after another before he comes back again, so there you go. And then, yeah, that's what we needed these rations for, because these brown rations have chocolate in them, and the acid pools actually gets dissolved into, well, some people say shit, I just want to say water. This sounds a little bit nicer. And yeah, the acid turns into just water thanks to the chocolate. For some reason, I don't know. Like, there's an lore explanation in there. Exactly. I'm not a chemistry major. I studied psychology. I don't know what it does there. But yeah, it's just turned into water and we don't die by touching it.
Yeah, you will instantly die on them as well.
Yep.
It has a funny animation because you touch it, you get the game over sound, and then Snake just sinks into it, just like it's just goes through the floor.
Exactly. And if Terminator 2 would have come up before this game, which took 7 years after that, Snake probably would have given his thumbs up or something like that in the acid pool.
Yeah.
And there we go. So, what are we doing now? A little explanation. As I explained in the beginning, normally all these guys do have cards on them. So you have to fight them, and then you get the card from them, and you can progress. But the last boss, Nightfire, did not have a card on him. That card actually belongs also to Jungle Eevee, who also gave us the level 8 card. And the level 9 card also is in his fight area. So, well, I guess we gotta go back again. One last backtracking, but then we're finally done with the backtracking. We can move on.
I'm going to take a couple of...
Yeah, that's whatever. The alert will drop as soon as you go to the next area, but sadly, yeah, if you get spotted and followed, it's unfortunate. If you leave the screen without being seen, basically halfway being on evasion, they don't follow you on the next screen, but if you're still on an alert, the guards follow you onto the next screen at the position where you entered. So you can manipulate that a little bit. But yeah, in this situation, it's a little unfortunate and annoying, because you cannot really avoid them.
Also, for whatever reason, the card has to spawn in the top corner. The furthest point in that room.
Yeah.
On the furthest point.
Yeah, this is not an RNG moment. It just spawns there, unfortunately, but it could have been closer to the door, man.
Yeah,
But we
it would be
digress.
nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to level 8. I got spotted again. That guy is like that. Moving to punch that guy is like really like tight timing. You have to move just before he comes around the corner and punch him. But I mean, it is what it is.
That's why I'm not doing that anymore.
Time.
Yeah. If you have the grenades, you can just toss a grenade over to the trucks, and like most of the time, it's like not 100%, but like most of the time, these guys will just like both go up, and you don't need to worry about punching one of them. It's a little bit nicer.
Yeah, I'll probably start doing that soon.
Yeah, I think you need like, what was it, 10 or 11 grenades on them, so you do have some extra anyway. Oops. But yeah, once again, going through the prison camp here, just making our way here, nicely catching this guy before he sees us. Different pattern this time. It is what it is. Once again, like alerts are not the end of an any percent run. They're just like a very small time loss, if at all.
Yeah, because like
fine.
you see, the screen freezes, and House mentioned it at the beginning of the run. When you take an alert, the screen freezes. When you take an alert from personnel, anyway, from guards, take it from a sensor or a camera, it'll just keep going. You can keep running.
Yeah. All right, it's time for the final bit of the game. Don't worry, we still got a few more minutes together, but we're finally reaching like the last few bits of story. And that bit of story next up is Dr. Matna. Do the menu. There we go.
Yeah.
You gotta use a grenade, I think, for next.
I have PE. I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So normally, so quick story bit here. Dr. Matna is actually turning against us. He's not the hero of the story. He just killed Dr. Kiyama for his Oilix formula, but he didn't have it on him. God damn it. What do we do? Well, first off, we gotta get rid of Dr. Matna here. He will choke us. The old 90-plus-year-old man will choke the soldier snake. And I'm like, well, okay, what do we do? Well, we just have him step on mines. 4 in total for easy, and if we don't have them, we can also just use plastic explosives like that, and he dies. And that's where our backtracking can be avoided this time by knowing we have to use the brooch to freeze the key, to freeze the brooch to make it a key. There you go. Enter this vending machine. Inside there are rats that are nuclear, that are one-touch damage and kill you immediately. Right, and that's where we need the bullets from the pistol for, so we can all shoot them quickly as they come out of this hole. And that's where we need the yellow rash, because in there is cheese that gets the rats, so get out of there so we can finally get the Oilix formula. If you don't know all the prerequisites for this, you will spend some time grabbing all those things, but thankfully as speedrunners, we know what we need to do, so we can cut out a lot of extra packtracking that normally we need to do the casual run.
Backtracking. I couldn't even imagine backtracking. That's crazy.
Exactly. So there we go.
Grenades, but
yeah, it was whatever. Let's do that. Well, yeah, this is it. This is Dr. Matna's end. He betrayed us for his daughter Ellen, which we could actually meet in Metal Gear 1, but speedrunners don't do that unless they do 100%. So also even that is optional in Metal Gear 1.
I'm actually going to pick up some set of grenades just for backup, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've only got 14, and I'm pretty sure it's 12 to kill Metal Gear, but if you miss a grenade, I've only got 14, so I can only afford to miss 2 grenades.
Exactly. So you land here on the right side in the door. I think that's for the level 1 card. Yeah, there you go. There's like plenty of ammo for grenades. So you definitely will have enough. Even if you go there with 0 grenades, you can just grab these that are there and you're fine. And yeah, flashing lights warning for you all there. If you are sensitive to flashing lights, walk away. We're going to let you know when you look again. This is very intense, I'm just saying. So one of the few games where I actually say this needs a warning. The Wii version is the only one where they removed that. I don't know why they didn't keep this removed, but I digress. Gonna throw some of the grenades here against the leg of Metal Gear D. That's the only weakness that has. Just like Metal Gear 1, just knock out the legs and you're good to go. And as soon as we have tossed enough against the legs, the fight's over. But the flashing is still going on, so we'll let you know once again explicitly when the flashing is over.
This is the last set right here.
Yeah. And it's going on for a while, Sandy.
Yeah, it's quite intense.
Exactly. I'm not joking. I'm not sensitive to that, and even my eye starts to hurt after a while. So there we go. we're done with this boss fight. Now we're in flames after the fight. We have to get off all the items here in our inventory, as I said. This is why we got rid of the one ration earlier, so we have one less item that we need to worry about. And now with nothing in our hands, we're going to fight. By the way, you can watch again, flashing I stop. We're now going to fight Grey Fox in this epic fight here where we step on mines and he dies from the explosion from the mines. Well, that wasn't that epic.
The way they describe it in Metal Gear Solid 1 sounds like it's way epic, but in this game, it's in a small box room.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely amped up this moment in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
In the MSX version, you have to do it literally like a fist fight. There's no way around that because your health actually declines way too fast to use this mine strategy. But in the PS2 and HD version, yeah, step on the mine, you lose some health, but Grey Fox dies in 3 hits, so he dies way quicker than you do. And that's our advantage to be fast. And yeah, here is Sean Connery, I mean Big Boss, letting us, well, first go through to a little bit of a fetch quest, because we don't have any weapons. We got rid of all our stuff, right? And so what we need to do is assemble a quick weapon on the go here. We'll first grab a few cards, go through specific rooms to grab high-level cards, so we eventually find something that we can make a weapon out of. Thankfully, this turns out to be an impromptu flamethrower that we use some hairspray and a lighter for, and then...
Axe body spray, mate. Links.
The good old links, exactly. Yeah, we also need this one ration because there's a door that we need to go through and there's some acid in front of it. Don't step on it. And coming up in the next room, you can see it already on the right. There's immediately an acid pool, so be very careful when you enter this. Immediately hold right on entering, or else you immediately walk into the acid and die. You will have to do the start of the fight again. Same thing also goes for this next room.
Yeah.
There you go. This is where we need the final level card, and now we can get the body spray. I think we already did that at the kid at some point, yes.
I always tap up, so I don't just run straight into the room and walk into the acid pool.
Yeah, same. Like, it's just too risky to try and be fast. Just tap it up and good. Alright, there we go. Using our colorful spray here to quickly use it. What's really cool is also you can basically shoot it across the screen. So if Big Boss is on the next screen, you can still use it to damage him. Still works across the screen, which is actually the Big Boss method where you want to avoid taking damage.
Annoying.
And I was going to say, you look very low.
Yeah.
No. Oh, well. That's the lesson everyone needs to learn sometime. Actually, Big Boss, even on easy difficulty that we run here for 80%, you can quickly go soft. So you want to be a little bit more careful.
Oh.
But the only punishment is we get sent back basically to the point of the fight. And fun fact, the IGT actually resets to this point as well. So since we're running an IGT time category and the death is not punishment, unlike if we go for a Big Boss where we are not allowed to take a continue, in 80%, technically we can do every run like perfect with multi-segmentness to a certain degree. So at least when we would come to a leaderboard run, we were like, we just made it all the way here. We got good luck so far. We just run this Big Boss fight again and then finish the run and see what the time is, because we wouldn't actually lose time necessarily based on the IGT.
It was just unfortunate. I wasn't paying attention to how many shots he actually landed on me.
Yeah, good. There's still at least 2 more rations in the room here that we can use just in case it gets a little bit tricky. But, I mean, normally you don't need it. And it's definitely still quick enough to grab all these things again and try again.
Yeah, he was just giving me bad patterns, so I ended up taking more damage than...
Yeah, and if he touches you, it's way less damage as well. His gun actually gives you way more damage. So if he's just touching you, that's fine. But being shot actually is way more critical.
Looks like he's in a better spot this time. Hopefully he stays there.
Looks good. If he just runs into your line of sight now, you can just shoot him now. Oh, there you go. Oh. I said it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. I thought I touched him for a minute.
Yeah. Also, good thing is if he attacks you, he immediately stops if you attack him back. So this is also a nice way trying to prevent being damaged. Or at least just once. And the thing... There we go. That's it. That's the fight. That is Big Boss. The real Big Boss. Mini spoiler for TPP. Exactly. It's the real Big Boss.
We just have to sit through this because for some reason he's on fire but can still talk and move around. And
he's such a legendary soldier. He doesn't go out without a bang. And his bang is coming. He's like really etching towards, and there you go. Now it's exploding. All right, time for us to leave the final stretch of the game. We defeated everyone. This time there's no countdown happening. We can just go off. And oh no, we got captured. When actually it's just Holly. That's fine. So yeah, she survives. Gustavo said he did not survive this adventure, and we get home with the lady. Good job. Home in time for Christmas dinner. Because yeah, this is actually happening on Christmas. Oh no, we got caught.
The Rambo section because
yeah,
it was a gun that never runs out of ammo, and if anyone's ever seen Rambo,
wow, Holly also doesn't die.
yeah, that's true. He doesn't die, and he also has an M60 that just has like the smallest belt you've ever seen on it, but still never runs out of ammo.
Yeah. And I never actually stepped on that gap and never saw that Holly would just literally stand on the gap and not die. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. She can't die, but if I stood on it.
Yeah, and we're just making our way towards the final screen. If this was a big boss run, we would be careful not kill many of these guards because we don't have many guards that we're allowed to kill. But in 80%, we can literally just stand in the corner, shoot from left to right, for example, and just wait for the final ones to come up. Because as we enter the final room here, there's a little timer, I think of like 30 seconds or so that we need to wait out. In the time, we can just spam our gun like this. And as soon as the gun says, or Snake says, our gun's empty, the infinite ammo gun is empty. Who knows? That's the end of the time. So get ready for time. It's coming up soon. Just waiting for the last few shots and time. Damn it! I'm out of ammo. So I call time here at the sort of classic time ends position where like all the event runs normally end their RTA. IGT still ticks technically until we fade to black and actually enter the credits, but until we get there, the IGT actually stops also on this fade out, thankfully. So we don't need to go through the credits to have the IGT count. But yeah, that's the run. GG Theory.
Yep, thank you. That didn't go as bad as I thought it might go. Luckily, it was only that last big boss fight. I just didn't pay attention to my HP. And like Hal said, it can get away from you sometimes if you're not careful. Like you can just be in really bad spots where every time you move screen or something, you just walk into him or get shot.
Yeah, you can be in the top right corner and you're at the bottom left and you try to find him. But yeah, your RTA time is 1 hour and 12 seconds. I call that an absolutely fantastic run, especially with that pigeon. My God, that pigeon was so good to you today.
Yeah.
I've heard it was in the top 99% of pigeons. Is that true?
Yeah, the best of the best.
I mean, that's it though. We're on credits. We don't have to sit through this.
Credits are surprisingly long in this title, so yeah.
Yeah, they are. So.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Fury for having me here. It was an honor.
Thanks for having me at a Lime City event. We love doing, love being part of these, love being part of the community. So,
absolutely, mate. Thank you so much for that run. Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. It's a fantastic game. Holds up insanely well. Check it out yourself. It's very easy to get hold of, unless you want an original box copy, in which case you better be a millionaire. Or a house test. You've got one, right?
I wish. It was $600, but it was actually unboxed, so I would have used that as an investment. But yeah, they're very expensive.
600 big ones. Yeah, but it is a very, very good game, and it was an awesome showing of it as well. We are staying with Metal Gear, going to something that's a little bit more modern, some might say. We're going to have Metal Gear Solid V, The Phantom Pain, and it's Wizard Hawk running it. So we'll go to a short intermission, and we'll be back with that run very, very soon, so stay with us.